Hey everybody, Jacob with Scooters Lawn Care. So, as I mentioned in some videos before, I really like trying to come up with topics that hit home for someone just starting in business. And today I had a really good idea, and I've been meaning to talk about this one for a while, and that's managing money. Not a money professional. I'm not giving professional advice that anyone has to follow by any means, but through my time of starting a small business, leaving a full-time job and making the transition, I did find stumble upon reading and found some pretty good ways. So first I want to just talk about managing money and what that's going to encompass, and then I want to hit on the two major parts for our business that I think are important. But anyway, managing money is going to be huge to you because there's going to be all kinds of things that come up. You can't just take every dollar of everything that comes in and just spend it. There's taxes that have to be paid on every dollar of profit you make. There is expenses that have to get covered out of those dollars, whether or not they get spent. Some of these expenses these fixed expenses do not go away. There's all these little things that'll come up: broken down string trimmer, broken down mower, repair cost this, 2 new tires here. There's all these little things that require you to manage money, so when you need them, you can go ahead and get them. Yes, it's going to be stressful, especially as you're building. Depending on how quickly you're trying to build, it's going to just stay stressful. But managing your money is going to alleviate some of the stress, make things easier, make it a little more controlled, and then it just gets smoother and smoother and smoother as it goes. But so that's kind of my first point is managing money. There's a lot to it. You don't want to just take the money and spend every dime you've got, because there's a lot more to it than that. So my second point that I really want to hit home is, I feel what's always worked best for me is kind of a buckets of money system. So when I was growing up, when I first started having bills, I always would take all the bills I had in a month, I would add them together, I would divide that by 4, or if you want to get really technical, there's actually 4.3 weeks in a month. So if you want to get technical, you can do 4.3. But divide it by 4, and then that amount every week I would take that amount out of my paycheck and I'd put it in a billing account. That would make sure my bills were covered. I knew the rest could be spent or saved or whatever I wanted to do, but most importantly, the bills were covered. So I'd always had kind of a bucket mindset with bills. And I carried that into business. I did it kind of small at first, but then it grew and it grew and it grew. And I read Profit First, which by Mike Michalowicz is a great book. It takes the bucket system to the extreme, and it is pretty much what I follow now. I've got a little bit of my custom version, but unless I really just need it to cover payroll, almost every dollar that comes into the business gets allocated out 4 separate ways. One gets allocated into business savings and or profit, and then the second gets allocated into owner's pay, the third gets allocated into operating expenses, and then the fourth would also be, now I can't even remember what it is. The fourth gets allocated into some taxes. Taxes have to be covered. So I came up with these predetermined percentages that anytime, say $1,000 comes in, $10,000 comes in, I put it into my Excel sheet. I know what I do. I make my transfers. It kind of sounds tedious, but when you put the money away up front and it gets put into those buckets, it makes you see. Mike Michalowicz uses a great way to express how this is. If you have a brand new toothpaste, you will put just a ton on your toothbrush because who cares? It's full. Well, the same way with money. When you get a $2,000 check and you put it in the account, you're like, man, I need this $1,500 piece of equipment. Who cares? I got the money. Well, that's not the case. With this system, it makes you treat it like a tube of toothpaste that is almost empty. You will finesse it and work it and try to get that last little bit out, but once you get down to that far, you only use the littlest amount you need. And in business, if you can try to control yourself by that, just using what you need, trying to be frugal, you've got to buy things, you've got to spend money, but you need to be putting this money away, because things will jump up and surprise you. Taxes will jump up and surprise you. Winter will jump up and surprise you. So the bucket system, come up with a way to take your money. I would suggest just read Profit First and go by that and use that to really learn. But split your money up. Have it come in, disperse it evenly, only spend what's in your operating expenses. Save every dime of your savings and don't touch it. Unless it's like a quarterly distribution or something of that matter. One second. Then the last thing that I really wanted to hit home is, like we were talking about savings and all these things, is winter comes. Winter comes, we stop working, depending on, where you're at. And you have to be prepared for that. I think to some extent everybody slows down in the seasons that are winter. But you have to be prepared for that. You have to have money set aside. And, if anybody wants it, I have an Excel sheet that's how I know exactly what I need monthly for everything. It's got my pay entered in it. It's got all the bills entered in it, because I'm a really visual person. You plan ahead and you prepare for things, and it makes things easy. When you just fall into them and you're like, well, I hope it works, I hope I get through winter, I hope I get the bills paid, that's not planning to succeed. That is just going on a whim. So basically the way I've always done it, I've had an Excel sheet. It's had every single one of my bills in it. It itemizes them as business, and then it itemizes my personal weekly pay or salary. And it says, I've got it broke down to what the business needs for a month, what I need for a month, what the total is for a month, then 2 months, then 3 months, then 4 months. So I can see that, just for easy numbers, 1 month is 10,000, 2 months is 20, 3 months is 30, 4 months is 40. It shows me exactly that, and then it shows me what percentages come from each. And to me, that's a big deal, because when I look at my savings account and I can say, okay, we're looking good. We've got, roughly 2 months savings. We're only halfway through the season. That's a good place. That's a good feeling for me. You want to make sure you know where you're at, because it's kind of like setting goals. If you set a goal and you just say, hey, I've got this goal, that isn't setting anything. You have to actually write it down and plan to make it happen. So same with savings, getting through the winter and all your budgeting. So like I said, winter savings is huge. You need to have a strategic way to save for it. That is how we use the buckets. The profit in savings is also pretty much winter savings. So if anybody has any questions on this, or wants me to divulge into it any deeper on kind of how we do our bucket system, like I said, if you would like to have the emailed Excel sheet, it's nothing special. It's my winter savings Excel sheet. And really, it's a good time to start prepping for stuff like that. Really, if you hadn't been prepping for it since you first started working in spring, it is really, really serious that you need to start looking at it now. So like I said, if anybody wants that sheet, let me know. I'll do my best to get them out as fast as possible. Just shoot me an email in the comments below. Please like, subscribe. If you guys have any ideas on other videos you'd like to see, I'd definitely like to share any of my ideas or thoughts with anybody and hopefully help. And like and subscribe. Have a great week, guys.